In the timeless words of the renowned Greek philosopher Epictetus, we are reminded that there are aspects of life under our control and others beyond our influence. Our journey towards a fulfilling life begins with these 7 lessons and recognizing the fundamental truth. 1. The power of insults. Epictetus's first teaching focuses on the power of insults. He reminds us that insults or offenses only affect us if we allow them to. It's our interpretation of these actions that causes emotional discomfort. To illustrate this point, consider a time when a negative comment ruined your day or week despite your best efforts. It's a universal experience. However, Epictetus encourages us to realize that the emotional distress arises not from the insult itself, but from our reaction to it. In essence, he advises us not to be swayed by appearances. Instead, he suggests that, with time and calm reflection, it becomes easier to control our emotional responses. When we master this skill, we become impervious to insults. 2. Maintaining firm purpose. To avoid being swayed by the opinions of others, we must remain resolute in our pursuits. Epictetus encourages us not to let ridicule or mockery deter us from our path. Over time, those who doubted us may come to admire our determination. This principle speaks to the courage it takes to follow our own path. All too often, people neglect their true talents and desires to conform to the expectations of others. Epictetus reminds us that if we allow our purpose to be influenced by the fear of others' opinions, we won't fail because we tried and didn't succeed, but because we yielded to the opinions of others. We shouldn't interpret this as a failure, but as a real problem. When a person gives up their true calling to avoid social conflicts or prevent criticism, they miss the opportunity to live authentically. 3. Don't fear dishonor. Epictetus teaches us not to fear living in dishonor or being unknown to the world. Our self-worth is not determined by others' opinions. We are only truly someone in matters that are under our control and align with our principles. This teaching is particularly relevant in our modern hyper-connected world, where social validation often becomes the measure of our worth. Epictetus's wisdom challenges us to ask whether it's worth changing our authentic selves just to gain fleeting approval. In essence, he asks, is it worth putting our emotional well-being in the hands of others? His resounding answer is no. He encourages us to reflect on these questions and resist the temptation to compromise our essence for the sake of popularity. 4. Exercise self-control. To prevent insults from turning into offenses, we must exercise the same level of control over our minds as we do over our bodies. This discipline and self-control apply to various aspects of life, including managing anger within our families. Epictetus's philosophy extends beyond managing external insults. It's about mastering our internal reactions. He urges us to control our emotional responses, especially in situations where anger may flare. By doing so, we can prevent unnecessary suffering and maintain inner peace. Believe me, this simple practice can make a significant change in your life. When you learn to respond with equanimity rather than react with anger, you'll find greater harmony in your relationships and a deeper sense of calm within yourself. 5. Act according to your principles. We shouldn't be ashamed of acting in accordance with our principles, even if others misunderstand our intentions. This principle is especially relevant in the age of social media, where we often compromise our true selves for validation. Epictetus encourages us to live authentically, guided by our principles regardless of how others perceive our actions. He challenges us to question whether it's worth changing our behavior to please others or gain popularity. In the pursuit of living a life aligned with our values, we must be willing to withstand the judgments and misunderstandings of those who might not share our perspective. 6. Tolerate others' judgments. When others harm or judge us based on misconceptions, it's essential to practice patience. Epictetus emphasizes that their judgments harm them more than us. Understanding that people often judge from a limited perspective, he encourages us to be patient and not take their judgments personally. By doing so, we not only protect our inner peace, but also allow others the space to learn and grow. Finally, Epictetus encourages us to understand that we are the only true knower of ourselves. Others' insults and judgments are based on their limited perspectives. If we've acted correctly, we should not bear the burden of regret. In the face of insults and judgments, we should ask ourselves, did I act wrongly? If the answer is no, then we must recognize that we cannot enter the minds of others to understand their motivations fully. In such cases, we should take solace in knowing that we are the ultimate authority on our own character and intentions. Epictetus's wisdom guides us toward a life of self-mastery and resilience against the opinions of others. It's time to embark on the path of wisdom and start improving ourselves. Don't delay, for as Epictetus wisely states, you are no longer a teenager, but an adult. So begin your journey towards progress and the teachings of reason. Epictetus's teachings are timeless and offer profound insights into how we can navigate the complexities of human interactions and our inner worlds. By mastering self-control and understanding the limits of others' opinions, we can lead a more fulfilling and authentic life. Epictetus instructs us that our actions are firmly within our control. Our thoughts, opinions, preferences, desires, and aversions all fall within this domain. These are the facets of life where we can truly make a difference. In our quest for a fulfilling life, it's crucial to understand the distinction between what's within our control and what isn't. The philosopher wisely advises us to focus our energy on the former while ignoring the latter. Conversely, the external factors such as our physical bodies, wealth, reputation, and authorities lie beyond our direct control. Epictetus urges us to accept this reality, for it is in our acceptance that we find peace. When we recognize that we cannot control these external elements, we free ourselves from the anxiety and frustration that often accompany futile attempts to manipulate them. Instead, we find liberation in focusing on what we can shape, our inner selves. One of the greatest challenges we face as human beings is the weight of others' opinions and judgments. It's almost inevitable to be influenced, positively or negatively, by what others think of us. Epictetus acknowledges this human vulnerability, but offers a path to liberation. He reminds us that our duty is to spend our energy on what is under our command and ignore what is not. In doing so, we regain control over our emotional responses to external judgments. The purpose of this video is to glean wisdom from Epictetus's manual of life to achieve a mental state that shields us from the suffering inflicted by others' judgments.